Bob, it's kind of unbelievable how much rain we've gotten just today.
Yeah, I know. I was driving through it this afternoon coming back from Holmes Beach and Anna Maria, and I was saying to the newsroom here, I said, this is the most rain I've seen ever in 30 years. And sure enough, it has been historic rainfall.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about that in a bit. 10 inches already in some areas.
Wow.
And this is just the first phase. We talked about Hermine actually gaining strength in the Gulf of Mexico, which could add to the energy in the atmosphere. This is Anna Maria webcam. All day long it rained there in Anna Maria. They too had record amounts of rainfall, over 8.5 inches reported there, 8.5 inches from Ed Goff, who's on the north end of Anna Maria. And I was out there and it was flooding badly out there. Historic rainfall for the daily rainfall total for the entire month of August, and records have been kept for over 100 years. This was the most for Sarasota Bradenton Airport. Right there, you can see it, SRQ Airport reporting over 7 inches of rain in one day in August. That's the most ever recorded in the month of August. Look at that. Bayshore Gardens weather station there reporting over 10 inches of rainfall today. And near Northwest Bradenton, which saw nearly 9 inches of rain. And there's Anna Maria, 8.57 inches. Lesser amounts down south in Northport. That's not to say you're out of the woods, though, because the line of storms could set up over South Sarasota County and Charlotte County as well. Venice reporting just over 3.5 inches of rainfall. That's just today. And that heavy round of rain is now into central Florida. You can see it there. Still, though, raining fairly heavy in places across the Suncoast. We'll take a look at that closer and show you that the rainfall continues to move off to the northeast now. It's not nearly as intense as it once was, but still pretty heavy there into eastern sections of Manatee County. And what we have to worry about now is the possibility of some lone showers and storms generating a little twist as a result of the atmosphere getting a little bit more twist as the storm develops in the Gulf of Mexico. So this will be the next phase, the possibility of isolated tornadoes, and that will be a real possibility, I suspect, throughout the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. And even overnight tonight, we'll keep an eye on it for you. We're going to be here all night long. If anything happens, we'll break into programming and let you know about it, and also update you on our Facebook page and mysuncoast.com. And if you have our app, our news app, we'll actually send you these alerts as well on our news app. You can see the rain still moderate rainfall in Bradenton, stretching all the way on State Road 64, Manatee Avenue, out toward Anna Maria. And some rainfall as well near Northport and down south. It continues to move in from the Gulf of Mexico. But notice things have calmed down out here. That's a good sign temporarily. Tomorrow, though, more energy will spin our way, I suspect, and we could see an additional 4 to possibly even 6 inches of rainfall, up to 13 just offshore of Pinellas County. And you can see that heavy rainfall over portions of western Manatee and northern Sarasota County. Not as much down south, but for the airport there, the record amount over 7 inches recorded right there at the airport. And then the bigger picture showing the heaviest rain by far has been offshore. Well, here's the system. We continue to watch it now. It's gaining strength. The reconnaissance aircraft indicating winds up to 60 miles an hour. It looks rather fragmented, but we're seeing a pulse of energy once again build near the center, and that possibly could spread our way. Now, you'll notice we had a little gap this morning, too. And now here's another little gap. So this may actually cause the sun to shine there and maybe heat things up tomorrow, and then that energy come through and really explode over our area. The atmosphere is really juiced up still at this time. The weather balloon launch indicating that our atmosphere is very tropical all the way through it. So showers and storms that do pop up will produce some locally heavy rainfall, and there'll be a little bit more twist in the atmosphere as this system gets wound up and pushes off to the northeast. Right now, it's moving that direction at 10 miles an hour. The pressure has been falling at 998 millibars and top winds at 60. There's a forecast path and track. You can see that's where the center is expected to move on through, and winds at 70 miles an hour right there near Tallahassee. So power outages very likely, trees down, power lines down, and there's the hurricane warning, the area that you see from Panama City stretching all the way down past near the Big Bend area, and then tropical storm watch is in effect for northeast Florida up into Georgia. Tallahassee under that tropical storm warning at this point, and it looks as though we won't see tropical storm force winds here sustained, but we could certainly see some big gusts up to 40 miles an hour with some of the cells that move on through, with the strongest winds being felt right there over the Big Bend and into the panhandle of Florida. Here's a look at those tropical storm force winds moving in late Thursday, and then the possibility of hurricane force winds right there just for a brief period of time tomorrow night and into Friday morning. and eventually it winds up and moves off to the northeast. Now, as far as rainfall goes, we could see an additional, as I said, up to 4 inches. And this may change depending upon how many storms develop here in the eastern Gulf and work in our general direction. If the system gains enough strength, it'll pull a lot of the moisture with it and move it on over. And the waves are getting big too. We can't forget about that. Rip current advisories are in effect for coastal areas, and as well as a high surf advisory. And that means a lot of coastal erosion expected to be in place here along the Suncoast. Waves already up to 7 feet high. They could be as high as 8 feet. The surf that is moving on through the Suncoast. For boaters, obviously not the best boating weather. Seas running 9 to 11 feet. Rough conditions out there. Here's the forecast. Thursday, showers, thunderstorms, some flooding problems. And then still Friday, some lingering storms, a little bit of sunshine. And by the weekend, we get to a 60% chance for mainly afternoon and evening storms, back to summer pattern by the weekend.